What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And today, size matters. Not in the way that you're thinking, you pervert, but size matters when it comes to playing the quarterback position. You see, if you're not above 6 feet, it's going to be hard for you to see over those offensive linemen. That's what people that never played the position would tell you. See, many scouts out there believe that you got to be at least 6'2" to about 6'5" to have a successful career at the quarterback position in the NFL. Now, I don't believe that, but hey, I'm not a GM or a scout, so it doesn't matter what I do believe. One thing that I do know is that a guy by the name of Troy Smith could flat out ball. He was a Heisman Trophy winner, first team All-American. He was Offensive Player of the Year in the Big Ten. 3 times he spanked the University of Michigan. Let me repeat that. 3 times he spanked the University of Michigan. He did it 3 times. Let me say it 3 times. 3 times he spanked the University of Michigan. To me, that warrants a chance in the NFL. A real chance. Not a fake chance, but a real chance. Now, many of us already know that he really didn't get a real chance to play quarterback in the NFL, or maybe not enough chances. Now, of course, got to take advantage of your opportunities, and that's what he did at Ohio State. Now, the picture of him starting wasn't so clear back in 2003, his freshman season. They had another freshman quarterback that was 6'4", 225 pounds. The NFL scouts could not wait till he was eligible in Justin Swick. They also had a national championship quarterback coming back for his last year of college in Craig Krenzel. So in the 2003 campaign, Troy Smith got in a handful of games to run the ball a couple of times. He did not pass not one single time. Justin Swick threw the ball a few times in a few games, 8 attempts, 4 completions for 24 yards, 0 TDs, and 0 picks. But the writing was kind of on the wall that Swick was going to be that main quarterback and Troy Smith was just going to be that running option. But not so fast. In 2004, Swick, even though he did play in 7 games and he had a lot more attempts than Troy Smith, he completed only 52.4% of his passes for 1,200 yards, 6 TDs, and 6 interceptions. Troy Smith, they let him pass this year. He played in 8 games, completed 55.7% of his passes for 896 yards, 8 TDs, and 3 interceptions. So the smaller Troy Smith outdid the prototypical looking quarterback at 6'4", 225 pounds in Justin Swick. Troy Smith beat the odds. And when you go up against Troy Smith, most of the time, you're gonna lose. And that's what Michigan learned, and they learned that the hard way. Sometimes big-time players gotta make big-time plays in big-time games. And in the Big Ten, there was not too many games bigger than Michigan versus Ohio State. Especially because this game determined who will go to the major bowl game for this conference, because this was before the conference had a Big Ten championship game. So in his first meeting versus Michigan, he threw the ball for 241 yards, 2 TDs, 0 interceptions, 145 running, and 1 TD on the ground. In the game at Michigan that went down to the wire, he threw for 300 yards, completed 73% of his passes, 1 TD on the ground, 1 TD through the air. In the game of the century, this game determined which team was going to the national championship to face Florida. And he put up a phenomenal game. 70% passing, 316 yards, 4 TDs, and just 1 interception. So he was the Michigan killer without a doubt. Even though some people thought that he was too small to play quarterback, there was no moment too big for Troy Smith. Won the Heisman Trophy that year, first team All-American, and of course, won the Offensive Player of the Year in the Big Ten that season as well. So maybe people worry about the fact that he might not have played in a pro-style offense. Well, Ohio State at the time had the quarterback under center the majority of the time. Also, maybe people thought that he ran the ball too much. Well, in his senior season, he ran the ball 72 times for just 1 TD. The year before that, he ran the ball 136 times for 611 yards and 11 TDs and threw 16 TDs and 4 interceptions. His last year, when he only ran the ball for 1 TD, he threw the ball for 30 TDs and just 6 interceptions. So clearly he improved as a passer. Now, the Baltimore Ravens, they would select Troy Smith in the 5th round, pick number 174. They had Steve McNair there, who was going to be the starting quarterback, hopefully get the Ravens back to the playoffs. Now, Troy Smith did start that year. He started 2 games, went 1-1 as a starter, completed 52% of his passes, 2 TDs for 452 yards, and 0 interceptions. He showed some promise his rookie season. He showed some real promise his rookie season. And the Baltimore Ravens rewarded him by drafting Joe Flacco in the 1st round. Now, Troy Smith did enough to be the starting quarterback. What he did the year before and what he did in training camp and in the preseason let the Ravens know that, hey, we might have something here with Troy Smith. Now, Troy Smith got tonsillitis. Kyle Boiler, who was still on the team, got hurt and was out, so that made Joe Flacco the starting quarterback. If none of those things happened, Joe Flacco was not the starting quarterback, and Joe Flacco was handpicked by the offensive coordinator. So Troy Smith beat out Joe Flacco, who was handpicked by the offensive coordinator to be the starting quarterback, but got sick. So Troy Smith never starts again for the Baltimore Ravens. In fact, he won't start again until 2010 when he is a member of the San Francisco 49ers. But before he's a member of the 49ers, you have to think about this. The Oakland Raiders were starting Jamarcus Russell. The Cleveland Browns had just signed Jake Delhomme and Seneca Wallace. Like, Troy Smith won a Heisman Trophy playing for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Troy Smith is from Cleveland, and the Cleveland Browns don't give him a call. The Cleveland Browns are trying to acquire him. They go with Jake Delhomme and Seneca Wallace. I digress. So early in Joe Flacco's career, really didn't start off that well. In his first 7 games, he threw a grand total of 2 touchdowns and 7 picks. 2 touchdowns and 7 picks. So the fans were getting kind of restless, and even one player said that Troy Smith should probably be the guy. Joe Flacco is cool and all right, but I think that we need to go with Troy Smith. That was said by Terrell Suggs. So Terrell Suggs believes that Troy Smith should be the starter, but obviously Terrell Suggs does not make any decisions when it comes to who plays and who doesn't play. So Troy Smith doesn't get another chance until he's a member of the San Francisco 49ers. The San Francisco 49ers. That team was so bad, and trust me, I know because that's my squad, that during a Monday night game, they were booing Alex Smith and chanting for Carr. Not Derek Carr, but David Carr. They wanted David Carr, a bigger bust at the time than Alex Smith was, to get playing time over Alex Smith. That was the team that Troy Smith took over for, and he actually did pretty good, going 3-3 as a starter, completing 50% of his passes for 5 TDs, 4 interceptions, and 1,176 yards. And again, that team was pretty bad. Matter of fact, that team was so bad that they only won 2 of the games that whole season that Troy Smith didn't start. So Troy Smith won more games that season than Derek Carr or David Carr and Alex Smith combined. Ironically, his best game in his career came versus the St. Louis Rams, where he threw for a grand total of 356 yards, 1 TD, 0 interceptions. 4 weeks later versus the St. Louis Rams again, he'll be benched and will get into an altercation with head coach Mike Singletary. Mike Singletary, who got into a shouting match with Troy Smith, was eventually fired the plane ride home from that St. Louis game. And from that moment on, Troy Smith has not played in an NFL game. To me, that's a travesty. He should have a real chance to be the starting quarterback, but as time has gone on, his chances in the NFL have basically come to an end. He did play in Canada for a little bit, but ended up not being successful over there as well, and now his football career is over. If you guys want me to do another player, let me know down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this kind of video, please give it a big thumbs up. And until next time, y'all, peace. Hot sauce.